if you're stuck around 18 to 22% body fat right now, you know, you're looking flat, you're looking soft, feeling frustrated with yourself every time you walk past the mirror, when you look down at yourself, you know you want more. You know you want that lean, athletic look. You want to be walking the room with high energy, presence. But you keep blaming genetics. You keep blaming your slow metabolism. It isn't that. All right, it isn't that. It's the fact you don't have structure. Yeah, and for years I would do the same. I'd blame my genetics. I'd say I'm just destined to be this soft, pudgy, just mess of a bloke, and it's just not the case. All right, anyone that tells you it's down to your genetics, it isn't the case. Yeah, I'm now able to maintain 8 to 12% body fat year round with ease. You know, no crazy cuts, no crazy bulks. Just cruise and build lean tissue year round. Yeah, that is what you want to be doing. You do not want to be just constantly bulking and cutting, and that is what so many people are doing these days. All right, to get to these low body fat percentages, they're slashing calories. You know, you've probably done it yourself. Been eating 1,800 calories a day across 4 or 5 months, and your hormones crash. Everything crashes, and you end up binge eating. You know, you slash the calories too quickly. You up the cardio like crazy, doing 2-3 hours of cardio a day, doing runs, getting on the bike, going on the Stairmaster after your workouts, and you just end up looking skinny fat. Yeah, you end up looking skinny fat. You lose all your muscle, and then once you lose all your muscle again, what do? You decide to go into a bulk again, and it's a constant yo-yo effect. All right, we need to crush this. We have to crush this. You need a structure. You need a roadmap, just to ensure that you're just, you know, got a blank canvas to be building lean tissue year round. Yeah, you don't want to be gaining fat at all year round. Yeah, you want to be looking sick. You want to be feeling good, just operating like an absolute machine. The first thing you need to take into account is the long game is the short game. All right, everyone wants a quick fix. Everyone wants that dream body instantly. Yeah, and they just don't have the patience for it. And like I say, in the past, you probably haven't had the patience for it. So you've just slashed the calories to get in shape for a holiday and up the cardio, and you hit a breaking point where you just can't go any further. The scale's not budging, you're drained, you can't really up the cardio from that point, and then what you probably end up doing is overeating. You know, it's self-sabotage. You just end up binge eating because you've deprived yourself that much. And I've done it time and time again in the past. You know, I used to come home from work on about 1,600 calories. Yeah, I was eating a day at the time. I think I was trying to get in shape for a holiday, which is what I used to do like a fucking idiot. All right, you don't want this to be a phase, number one. You want it to be a lifestyle. Yeah, so if you're in this for a 6-week transformation for your holiday, for your Jet2 holiday to Ibiza, just scroll off the video right now. All right, but if you want to make this become a lifestyle, you actually want to look lean, aesthetic, year round, you just adopt this. All right, just adopt what I'm about to tell you. So, like I say, I used to literally slash the calories, and then I'd come home from work and I'd have, you know, I remember one day, well, I've done it a few times to be honest, a couple times, I'd come home and I'd raid the cupboards. Yeah, I remember I went through 24 Weetabix, a kilo of porridge, shitloads of crumpets, just my hunger hormones just went through the roof that day, and I'd end up crashing. And I wake up just a bloated mess and I feel depressed, and it's a constant yo-yo. Then I try to cut the calories again to shred off the fat. All right, everyone's looking for a quick fix. You need to be patient with it. You need this to be a gradual fix. Yeah, so what I like to do with my clients is take them through a carbon phase. So what you want to be doing is be in a controlled surplus to begin with. Yeah, just in a small surplus of 200-300 calories, and then just looking at the scales week by week and adjusting. You want to keep your protein as high as possible, right? You want it about 1 gram to 1.5 grams per pound of lean mass, you know, and you also want to keep your carbs high. All right, anyone that says carbs are the enemy, you know, cut carbs, do all this carnivore shit, Like, tell them to shut the fuck up, all right? It's just spastic behavior. And I've done it in the past. I used to think carbs were the enemy, when realistically, they're going to fuel your performance, keep your performance high during that carbon phase, especially as calories get lower and lower. You need it. Yeah, you need it to preserve that muscle, to preserve that glycogen during your workouts, fuel your workouts, right? If the reason you're having shit workouts in the gym, you're not getting pumps, it's probably because your carbs are too low. And I've been accused of it in the past of just upping the protein like mad and just keeping my fats and carbs really low. Yeah, and it's just stupid. All right, you want to keep your carbs as high as possible, and obviously you want to keep your fats in there as well, just to ensure your hormones don't go all over the gaff. Yeah, you want to make sure your hormones are stable throughout this process. Another thing, you want to be eating from whole foods. All right. Now, in the past, I've said, honestly, me personally, I still like to keep it 100% whole foods, but a 90-20 rule. Yeah, you want a 90-20 rule. All right, you don't want to be going out every weekend, having all this processed shit. You want to be satiated during this cutting phase. Yeah, you want to be satiated during this cutting phase. You don't want to be, like I say, if you're going out having a Mackies at the end of the night, or you're just having loads of pints, like, you're never going to see progress. It's that simple. So what I honestly recommend doing, especially during this carbon phase, just keep it whole foods the whole time. Yeah, keep it whole foods the whole time. High fiber. You want to be satiated throughout this. Yeah, another thing, you want to have your hydration on point. Yeah, you want to be drinking a good amount of water. Electrolytes, again, I talk about all the time. Keep the electrolytes in there, or salt water in the morning. You want to make sure you're hydrating upon waking. A lot of the time, you're just bored or dehydrated. That is why, you keep eating all this shit, and it's the reason you don't see results. All right, so you want to make sure you're adequately hydrated throughout the day. I like to keep it 4 to 6 litres a day. I know that's a lot for some people, but just make sure you're hydrated. Next is training. Obviously, during this cutting phase, like I say, you're going to be pulling food. So you want to keep your carbs as high as possible and just fit them around your workouts, yeah? Use them strategically. All right, don't just spread them throughout the day. You want the right nutrient timing. So keep your carbs pre and post workout just to ensure you're fueling that performance. What I've done in the past is, like I say, cut carbs, and my performance just completely tanked. All right, you want to be ideally training just as hard as you possibly can with the right rep ranges, the right execution, none of this junk volume. Spending hours in the gym, doing this endless amount of cardio as well. That's another thing, right? Like, you don't need to do this crazy amount of cardio. You need a good amount of steps in there. Just keep it all consistent throughout this phase. Yeah, nice and controlled, not abused. All right, not abused. Like I said, I've abused it before with the endless amounts of Stairmaster, the endless amounts of running. It's just not going to end well. Yeah, it's not going to end well. Keep it nice and steady. I honestly don't recommend anything high intense. So I used to do running and all this stuff and all this hybrid shit. Honestly, don't recommend it. Yeah, if you want to be cognitively sharp, if you want to look sharp, feel good, high energy, year round, just cut all that bollocks out. All right, cut all that bollocks out and just keep it nice list cardio throughout this phase. Another thing, just you want to be trying to progressively overload week by week. I know a lot of people say you can't build muscle in a carbon phase when you're cutting, but you can. All right, you can push yourself as hard as you possibly can. You want to preserve that muscle. You don't want any of that muscle, being lost in this phase. Another thing, recovery. You need to be prioritizing your recovery, all right? You want to be getting 7 to 8 hours a night. That is one thing I used to do. I used to think going to the gym more is better. Doing 6-7 sessions a week, smashing arms, it isn't better. All right, it isn't better. You're not allowing your body to recover. Yeah, you want to be prioritizing recovery. So, like I say, get your steps in on your rest days, get your sleep in, control your stress. There's some supplements I like to use to control my stress. You can DM me on Insta stops, and I will get back to you and let you know the supplements that I use to obviously de-stress. But yeah, just prioritize your recovery. It's very important. If you want to do a sauna, if you want to do ice bath, I don't really do the ice baths and stuff, but obviously make sure you're having them rest days. Your environment, how's your environment looking right now? Really ask yourself the question. Have you got loads of takeaway boxes by the side of your bed? Is your clothes all over the floor? Yeah, are you crawling out of bed looking like a scruff? You need to clean all this up. Yeah, you need to start looking after yourself, taking care of yourself. Alright, first thing, get rid of all the shit in your house, all the junk food that's in the cupboard. Once it's gone, you ain't going to go near it. Yeah, like I say, for me, I used to come home, raid the cupboards. Alright, the best thing to do is just get rid of it all. The chocolate, the biscuits, the crisps, it's all got to go. Yeah, clean it all up. Delete the takeaway apps on your phone. Uber Eats, I used to love it. Alright, every week, ordering Uber Eats just because it's convenient. After work, when I'm stressed out. Instead of prepping meals, alright, start prepping your meals. Let people call it gay. I mean, I got called gay for years for my meal preps when I used to bring them into work, when I used to bring them wherever I was going. Alright, you don't have to be that extreme with it. You don't have to bring it to social events or anything like that. Obviously, plan off-plan meals. That's another thing. Plan off-plan meals. Have structure in place. So know when you're going to eat off-plan, but just keep meal prepping. Alright, just keep meal prepping. Eat the same things every day, more or less, because it just removes that decision fatigue. And like I say, if you want to look lean, if you don't want to look fucking average like everyone else around you, you need to get rid of it. Another thing, cut the vices. They all got to go. The alcohol, the porn, the low frequency conversations with your mate down the pub about his missus or who he's been shagging. Like, it just don't serve you. Get rid of it, right? Like, just avoid these people or just cut them out of your life. Like, just get rid of them. They don't serve you. Yeah, just cut all the vices. Anything that's holding you back right now. Really sit down, write it down on a piece of paper. What are the bad habits that you have right now? It could be anything. Alright, just get rid of it. Delete it. If you can do it today, do it today. Identity. What is the long-term vision? Yeah, write this down. What is the long-term vision? That is what I like to do. Alright, I like to take my lads through my morning process to ensure they're operating like the 8% version of them. You know, even if they aren't it right now, even if they're 20% body fat right now, even if they're 50% body fat right now, alright, like, get it down. How are you operating, and start acting like that person. How's he walking in the room? How's he handling himself in conversation? His body language. Yeah, get it all down on a piece of paper. What's his daily non-negotiables looking like? What time is he waking up? Yeah, is he getting up? Is he getting the press ups in the morning? Or is he just snoozing his alarm and staying where he is? Alright, get very clear on what you want. So get it all down on a page and just think of the long-term vision and be patient with it. That is what so many people are lacking. Patience. They just want it all right now. Alright, just get very clear on the long-term vision. Yeah, how's your physique looking? You know, 3D shoulders, the tight waist, whatever it might be for you. Just write it all down on a piece of paper. Alright, ages before I even, started looking aesthetic, I just got very clear on what I wanted, the physique I wanted to achieve. Yeah, I didn't want to look like a bodybuilder. I didn't want to look like one of these beefy fuckers that you see walking in the gym who claim they got all this muscle when in reality they just look like a bloated water balloon. Alright, I got very clear on the type of physique I wanted to achieve. And from there, obviously I built out a training plan on how I was going to achieve that. A nutrition plan on how I was going to achieve that. Yeah, all of the structure. I got very, very clear on it. So get very clear on what you want to begin with. Because lads, the long game is the short game. Alright, it is not complicated. It is consistency compounded over time. And that's why most lads stay stuck. Yeah, they just want a quick fix right now. They want to see results right now. And that is not how it works. Yeah, it is daily systems executed on a daily basis. Over time. And trust me, you will get there. But you need to be strategic with it. You need systems in place. Because aren't you just sick and tired of just doing this yo-yo effect or looking the same or being depressed in your skinny fat body? Not knowing how to move forward and just always just moving forwards then backwards, forwards then backwards. It is depressing, alright? I know how it feels. I literally know how it feels. I know how it feels to be invisible. I know how it feels to be unconfident, low energy. Yeah, I know all of this stuff. I know all of this stuff that you're going through. Like, honestly, really ask yourself, what do you actually want? Like, do you want to look sick? Do you want to look aesthetic? Do you want to be high energy? Do you want to be full of confidence? If that is the case, then you need to stop negotiating with yourself. You know, you need to stop negotiating with yourself, and you need to start executing on a daily basis, implement the right systems, because the body follows the standards. Yeah, and if you're looking to apply all of this, you can shoot me a message over on my Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit, or check out some of my content, and I will get back to you. Let's go, guys.